On the last episode, we hit the road running by completing our new EFI fuel system. Then we dug out our fabrication equipment to modify the Bug's old rear cage. The CV axles got modified and we gave ourselves a headache doing wiring. But all was well in the end when we finally heard her run. Alright, so engine harness is all wrapped up and routed in here. It's looking pretty good. I pulled the rear cage back off because I am touching up the paint where I ground all the paint away to weld stuff together. You can see in here, windows out now because I'm replacing the window strip. There's the bulkhead down there where the wire harness passes through this bad boy. So I riveted in, made a little aluminum bulkhead. Still got to figure out how I'm going to mount the ECU and stuff. So next thing I did, because we need to make this thing street legal, went to AutoZone and got me some trailer lights, and check this out. Perfect size, and even the bolt holes match up, which is pretty interesting. $8 a piece, not bad. After finishing our taillights, it's time to reinstall our body panels to prepare for the maiden voyage. Alright, so the wiring for the body is all done. I didn't show you guys, I apologize. Here is the end result for the body wiring. Got my trailer tail lights wired in. Got a third brake light, so we're legal, and those are actually red LEDs, which is sweet. All the wiring harness is nice and tucked in, and you can see inside the car, everything's wrapped up with my bulkhead, the ECU is mounted. My harness that runs to the front, running down on the side right there. Yeah. Everything connected to the key. You can see the little green light there. It's my check engine light. I got dome lights. Pretty. I got low beams, which you can see there. I got high beams. I've got dash lights. Lights everything up. New tachometer too, because the old one I cut the wiring for and I couldn't figure out how it went together. Radiator fan, relay override switch. So if I want to run the radiator fans, I can all the time. Look at that. Wipers. Woo-wee. And then this is my start switch. I'm not gonna start it up right now because it's ungodly loud. Horn. Hey, look at that. We got brake lights. Front end harness is cleaned up, or it comes up through there. Got my fuse block and my brake light controller and all the gauges. Wiring is done. Now I did notice that the lifters were ticking pretty bad when I fired this thing up. So, I bought a new set of lifters, which is going to be nice to switch gears to something more mechanical because wiring makes my brain hurt. So, let's get those rocker arms off, get the lifters out, and get them replaced. It's always good practice to bleed new lifters by hand before installing them. By submerging them in oil and pumping them while depressing the check valve, we assure that all the air is released and the proper preload will be applied to the valve. With the lifters fixed, we can put on our tires and roll her out for the first time to bleed the cooling system. gonna drive it up and down the street and make sure everything's okay.
One of the things that had to go was the worn out old window seal. Replacing this proved to be a difficult task with a stiff new rubber seal on a 40-degree day.
Alright, so one of the last things I need to do is take care of these ratty old seats. Pretty well worn down. All, you know, this thing's been stored for so many years that the cloth is just kind of worn away and it's just falling apart. Luckily underneath this, the seat actually has really good bones. So I was able to find a nice new seat cover on eBay from a company called EP. So I got this nice new seat cover. It's got the foam built into it. So we should be able to just take this seat cover off, swap the cover over, and put it in the car. What's up guys, we're back here at Muffler Works getting the exhaust done for the Bug. This is Todd's new location out here in Lafayette. Nice place, a lot bigger. And Todd finally got rid of the rickety old sketchy lift. Look at this brand new thing. He got a glass pack for us and I brought the T. So here is our glass pack, and what we're thinking here is something like, yeah, connect the T down there, and then we have to get our O2 sensor in the stream, and then make a little turn down for it so it's not filling up with water. It's gonna be sweet. Alright, so we got the car home from the exhaust shop. Funny thing happened, and of course I didn't get it on film. The car completely died in the middle of the highway. Turns out, it was completely out of gas because the fuel gauge was not reading properly. So now I found out that with the fuel gauge, when it's at a quarter of a tank, that means you are basically out of gas and it reads 0 the rest of the time, which is super convenient. I've painted the exhaust system with some VHT flame-proof paint. Pretty awesome. Now that everything's one color, it actually looks a lot better. Oh, and I got a surprise. Christmas came earlier, folks. I got some mud terrains for the front. I'm super excited to try these out. Look how beefy that is. Basically the same size as what's on it. Maybe just a little bit taller, but gnarly mud terrain. So that should cut really good in the dirt and the sand. I'm sure it's gonna do awesome. I built my sheet metal panels. The paint should be all done on those to cover up all the holes. Today, I'm gonna go ahead and install those. I'm gonna rivet them in, and then we're gonna use some silicone sealant to seal up the rest of the gaps so we don't get any noxious gases pluming into the cab there. And because the thing is ungodly loud at highway speeds, and I think it's just from the reverberation from that back panel there, Donnie was nice enough to leave us some sound deadening material. And it'll hopefully get rid of some of that noise. Let's do it.
With the EJ's oil pan hanging down much lower than the air-cooled motor, this thing needs a protective skid plate. Time to bust out our trusty cardboard to prototype a design so I can hand it off to the local steel and fab shop.
Alright guys, I have here one of the final pieces of the puzzle. Oh wait, new tires are on. Oh, look how mean they look. Awesome. Anyway, the skid plate. So believe it or not, it only cost me $115 to have them make. In hindsight, 1/4-inch aluminum is probably really thick. But you know what? Overkill's good. And I mean, it's pretty light. It's only about 6 or 7 pounds maybe. It's super light, so I think it's gonna work out great. Let's see how well she fits up there and make sure I got my angles right.
Now that we've confirmed that the fit is perfect, we're gonna need some way to mount it. After drilling some holes in our plate, we can transfer drill those holes on the car and bolt it all in.
Oh man, that thing is beefy. So here's a test. I want to see if it supports the weight of the car. So I'm just gonna put the jack under it, start picking it up. I would say that that's pretty adequate. It is up off the jack stands on the skid plate. It's gonna work.